not everybody understands how academic publishers function. The way academic publishers function is that an academic set of academics does some research, they write a paper. They do everything. They typeset the paper. They do everything. They send it to the journal. The journal acts as a post box. So they might take it and send it to a referee. The referee is another academic. That academic does this part of actually peer reviewing the paper. They send it back to this post box. The post box sends it back to the author. And, there might be a few back and forths. And in the end, they either publish or don't publish it. But notice in this process, the value added by the academic publisher is basically close to zero, right? What did the academic, everything was done by academics. The research was done by academics. The writing was done by academics. The refereeing was done by academics. Everything was done by them. But the academic publisher now takes this research and might sell it back to the authors for a high price. And if somebody can't afford that high price, then, you don't get access to that research that your colleagues might have produced based on publicly funded research. So it's a completely absurd model, this model of academic publishing. In the field of high energy physics and string theory, to a large extent, we have solved this problem. We don't have these large academic publishers who are able to basically, exploit academic researchers in the manner that they do in other fields. Now, in other fields, the problem is that there are, how do journals like Nature and so on operate in the end? They also operate because not just because they're these academic publishers, but because these academic publishers have the cooperation of a set of scientists. So there might also be some scientists who, maybe are on the editorial board of Nature and so on. And those scientists find that this system gives them a significant amount of power over scientific research because they can decide, what gets published and what doesn't. They can act as gatekeepers. So it's a problematic system in many other fields or in some fields where, these journals act as gatekeepers. And the reason they're able to survive is that there's a set of people who, have prestige in science by virtue of these journals and, find that it's a way to keep their power in science. So, but I think there are clearly solutions. And, the field that, as I said, I work in high energy theory does offer an alternative model. So it's not so hard to find this model. In fact, even in machine learning and artificial intelligence, as we were discussing, these academic publishers are not present. The way things work is through these large conferences where people submit papers, and people who submit papers also have to peer review them. But you don't have this intermediary of an academic publisher who doesn't actually contribute to the work but extracts a fee and puts research behind paywalls. So I think there are clearly many alternate solutions that are available and that people have. Hopefully, going forward, academic publishers will be gradually be replaced